If your kids are hanging out with the wrong crowd, show them this video. A lot of kids are very dedicated and they have very high goals, but they don't have that discipline to separate themselves. But others have. So I know one of our former athletes, Drake Howdeshelt, went on to be a college national champion. His dad and I were very good friends, and they've since moved away. But he got Drake his own apartment because he said Drake wants to remove himself from his roommates because of the partying and drinking, and he wanted to get away from that environment that he was at the University of Missouri for a while. Ended up being a college national champion. Kerry Collett has a video how he on purpose roomed with Sanshiro Abe, who my brother and I used to compete against a lot back in the day in college. But Kerry said, I wanted to room with someone who was as driven as me and as disciplined as I was, So there's another guy. I know myself as a kid, I was in 7th grade, I think. My best friend, one Greg since kindergarten. The other one was David since 1st grade. They started drawing marijuana and pot leaves and stuff on their folders. And I was in 7th grade. And I was friends with these guys for, my whole childhood. I remember one day I saw this again. It bothered me. I noticed it again. And we went to some big baseball game in town, like some, it's like the 20 and over league or something. We just went to hang out, and they were hanging out with their older brothers and sisters and smoking cigarettes. So the next day at class, I went to my teacher and said, can I move seats? I want to go to the other side. And she said yes. Then at lunch that day, I grabbed my lunch tray and I went and sat with the soccer team, which was my other group of friends. I was really the only wrestler in my middle school back then. But, and I'm not bragging, but looking back, it was good that a 7th grader would give up. I never talked to those guys again. And I mean, I never looked at them. Okay. Now I'm sure they're doing great. They might be, having a fantastic life right now. I hope they are. But I never talked to them again, and I think I learned these things from my dad. So there's 3 examples of people who have had decent success in their lives, or tremendous success on some of these guys' cases. And the fact that they had the guts to remove themselves from these people who could only bring them down, right? One last thing, remember, when you start to get successful, people are going to attack you. No one who is chasing success or wanting to live a life of high achievement is going to be able to do that without a lot of people trying to bring you down, right? And that's one way they'll do it, is by saying, no, it's okay, dude. You can skip class. No, here, you can smoke this pot. You can party with this man one time, right? Or they'll make fun of you. I was a sophomore in high school, and this kid, Corey, he was making fun of me after practice. Me and my brother after practice were walking towards the locker room, talking about our wrestling practice, because we were always evaluating, right? And he made fun of us. He made fun of me, like just belittling to me. Maybe I was in 8th grade and he was a senior, because it was kind of an intimidating situation. All right. My little dog here, Titus. But what happened was simply this. He wanted to make fun of me because I kept a notebook in my locker and I would write down notes after practice. And I remember, I don't think I really said anything. I was more shocked than anything. But I remember my first week of practice at Oklahoma State. I walk in, and after practice, Chris Barnes, 2-time undefeated NCAA champion, was not taken down in 2 years, ended up being on Team USA, traveled the world wrestling. After practice, he pulls a notebook out of his locker, put it in his lap, and was writing in his notebook. And I remember seeing that, and I was like, I'm in the right place. I'm around people who are driven. And I remember thinking, the other people who will attack people who are trying to improve themselves, they're the loser. Show this to your kids. Hopefully it can help them. Good luck.